Hiya, Paul, welcome back. Another day of maths ahead of us. Let's have a look and see what we're up to today, shall we? So we're on lesson 3 already, zooming along, isn't it? And this is what we're going to be doing today. We are going to be recognising the value of digits in 4-digit numbers, which is what we've already been working on. We are going to continue the work we did yesterday on partitioning, but we're going to be explaining partitioning today. We're going to be explaining partitioning, and then we are going to be doing some ordering of numbers as well. And our Splash, our sloth there, is asking a question. Did you solve the challenge from yesterday? So at the end of yesterday, he asked you, if this is 1,000, what does 10,000 look like? So 10,000 would look a little bit similar to one of these, which is a 10, but it would be made of 1,000 cubes rather than being made of 1 cube. So this is made of 10 1 cubes. To make 10,000, we would need to make this a stick that was 10,000 cubes tall. So it would go up and up and up 10 blocks high, and that's what a 10,000 stick would look like if we were using base 10 to represent 10,000. So thanks, Splash, for our challenge for today. Did you manage to work that out overnight? Right, today you're going to need a pencil, you're going to need your maths book, and you're going to need a different colour for marking as usual. If you haven't got them, press pause and go and get them. Otherwise, let's get cracking with today's session. So we're going to do a game called Post a Letter to start off with today. And the letters have got to go in a particular house. So we're going to be told which house they have to go in. We're going to be told the number on the door, and then we're going to have to work out which door has that number on it. So it's really important that we're listening carefully when we start this game. So this game is called Post a Letter. We're going to be doing numbers all the way up to 9,999. Get your listening ears ready. Here we go. Being a bit slow today. Let's have another try, see if we can get it to work. Here it is, let's go.
$8,256.
8,256. Which door is that first letter going into? I think it should be this green.
Thank you.
Right. Right, ready to listen carefully? Here comes the next one. Listen really carefully.
2,760.
2,760. Look at those doors. Which one's it heading in? Point to one now. Are you right? Let's see. It's...
Ooh, smashing.
Here comes the next set of doors. Are you ready to listen?
6,701.
6,701. Which door is it heading to? The dog in this one. Ready for the next one? Listening ears, are they ready? Here we go.
8,325.
Which door is this one going in? 8,325. Look really carefully.
Thank you.
Okay, one more.
8,682.
8,682. Which door is this one going? It's going to the red one.
Ooh, thank you.
How did you get on? Did you manage to recognise which doors you should be going in? That was really good. Well done. Now, that game is available at ictgames.com. So if you'd like to have another go at it, it's called Post a Letter Game, and you can find it on there by Googling Post a Letter ICT Games, and you can have another go at that. So if you think, actually, it wasn't quite so good, or actually, I really enjoyed that, you can have another go at it. Okay, let's have a look and see what else we're going to be doing today. Here we go. So we've done our Post a Letter Game. We are going to think now about partitioning that we did yesterday, and we're going to be writing an explanation. So we're going to be needing to explain what's going on inside our head, and that is tricky. So you're going to have to do some really careful thinking today, And we're going to have to do a little bit of writing, but it's not all words. Some of it's going to be numbers. So this is a series of activities that we use quite a lot in our hospital school called Convince Me cards. And they've got two little characters here, Thinking Tom and Thinking Tanya, and they have made some statements about partitioning. And we have to decide whether their statements are right or whether their statements are wrong. And we have to prove it. We have to convince our teachers that we are right and they are wrong, or that we are totally happy that they're correct. So let's see if we can have a look. So Thinking Tom says 6,284 could be partitioned into 6,000 plus 200 plus 80 plus 4. So if you took those four numbers and you added them together, would they make that whole of 6,284? So if we had part, does it make that whole at the top? And it does. So I have written an example here to show you how to write an explanation. So when you do your examples in a minute by yourself, you're going to be given a writing stem, a beginning of a sentence to help you get started. So we've started this with Thinking Tom is right because. Then I've explained why he is right, because if you do 6,000 add 200, you get 6,200. Then if you add 80, you get 6,280. Finally, if you add on 4, you will get 6,284. So I've explained, yes, he is correct. And I know this because if I put those four numbers back together, they definitely make that original whole number of 6,284. So you're going to do exactly the same now with Thinking Tanya's version. So she says 6,284 could be partitioned into 6,000 plus 100 plus 180 plus 4. So I've given you a little bit of a hand today and I've told you that she is right. So I've started the sentence then with Tanya is right because, as it's our first explanation together. I now want you to finish that just like I did for Thinking Tom. So how do you know she's right? Can you put the evidence down on paper to show that she is correct? So use a mixture of words, numbers and mathematical symbols and see if you can write for me an explanation for Tanya's statement. Press pause and off you go. Did you manage it? Have you managed to write a statement? They're tricky. Even grown-ups find these tricky. So let's see how you got on. Even if you only got part of the explanation right, that's absolutely fine. It's your first go with me. So let's have a look and see. So this is what you should have written, something roughly like this. Don't worry if yours isn't exactly the same words, but it should say something like this. Tanya is right because 6,000 add 100 equals 6,100. If we then add 180, you will get 6,280. And finally, if you add 4, you will get 6,284. So all those parts go back together and they do make 6,284. So if you've got it all right, and give it a tick. If there's any changes that need to be made, use your other colour pencil and see if you can correct them now, okay? If you've got it completely wrong, it's fine just to copy for me my explanation because you're going to need it again in a minute for your next one. So what I'm going to ask you to do now is to think about a different way of partitioning that number. So you're going to start with 6,284 again, like we did yesterday, and you're going to think of another way of partitioning it that's not the same as Tom's and not the same as Tanya's. And you're going to write it down. So you might say, you're going to write your name. So Sophie says, and then what you've written, or John says, or Jack says, and then you're going to write your statement. How do you think 6,284 could be partitioned? And then you're going to write an explanation to show that you're right. So you're going to say, I am right because, and then you're going to write your explanation just like you did before. Okay, so new way of partitioning, then an explanation to prove that you're correct. Press pause and have a go at that now. Did you manage it? Have you done well? So you could have had there were all sorts of answers. I won't be able to give you all of them because there's loads of different ways you can partition 6,284. You might have decided to go with 6,200, add 84. You might have decided to go with 6,280, add 4. You might have decided to go with 6,200, add 80, add 2, add 2. all sorts of different answers. But just double check that the 4 numbers or the 2 numbers or the 3 numbers that you chose to partition it in add up together to make that original number, and that you've explained that in your explanation. And hopefully your teachers can have another look at that for you when you go back to school. Good job. Explanations are tricky. They take lots of brain work. You've got to combine your English brain and your maths brain together and make sure that you can get an explanation written. We shall have another go at them later in the unit and see if you've got any better. But well done for giving that a try today. Right, we are going to move on now, and we're going to look at some ordering of numbers, okay? So these are the examples you're going to have a go at yourself in a minute. But before we do that, we're going to do some together so that you can really think about how ordering numbers works. So here is my screen. Let's have a look. So we've got a set of numbers up here, okay? And we need to put them in order. And you can see we need to put them from largest to smallest. So that's in something called descending order, going down. The numbers are going down in descending order. So we need to find the largest, and we need to put them all in order until we get to the smallest number. And when we're ordering numbers, the first thing we do is always look at the highest value digit first. So all the numbers we're looking at today are going to be 4-digit numbers or smaller. So we always start with the highest value digit. So the highest value digit in a 4-digit number is the thousands number. So we're going to be looking at this very first digit here. So if we look, we've got lots of 7,000s here. Can you see that? All of these are 7,000. That one's 5,000. So I know that's the smallest because it's the only one that doesn't have a 7,000. So I'm going to leave that one for a moment, and I'm going to try and find my biggest one. So this one is 7,400. This one's 7,500. So this is bigger. Let's have a look. This one's 400 again. Oh, this one's 7,500 again. So now they're both, look, that's 7,000, that's 500. Then I've got a 0. This one's 7,500. Then I've got a 4. So that one is the biggest one. So I started from my thousands, then I looked in my hundreds, and then I looked in my tens, and I decided that one was the biggest, which means this one's coming next because that also has a 5 in the 500s. Now I've got 7,400s to look at. There's 2 of those. And again, that's 7,400. That's got a 5 in the tens column. This one's got a 0. So this one is going next. Then this one. And then we're going to come back to our 5,000 number that we had at the beginning that we knew was going to be our smallest. We've got 5,750. So we're looking at 1 digit at a time. Start with the thousands. If you have 2 numbers where the thousands is the same, you then need to check the hundreds. If you have the hundreds the same, you might need to look at the tens. And if the tens are the same, you might need to look at the units. But you always start with the biggest value digit first. Let's have another go together. Right, this one's tricky. Lots of 8,000s in here. So we're starting with our thousands number again. 8,000, 8,000, 8,000, 6,000, 8,000. So this one we know is our smallest. It's going to go down the end in a minute. Let's find our biggest. So we've got 8,300. That's definitely not our largest. 8,600. That's bigger. 8,300, 8,000. Oh, we've got 2 8,600s here. That one's got a 0 in the tens. That one's got a 3 in the tens. So that's the one that's going first. 8,630. Then I'm going to use my other number with 8,600. 8,606. Then here, I've got 2 numbers that go 8,300. This one is 8,360. This one's 8,300 and then has no tens. So I'm going with this one next. Then the one that had no tens. And then we finally get back to our 6,000 that we looked at the beginning and knew was the smallest. So we're going 1 number at a time. Thousands, then hundreds, then tens, then units. And we're going to put them in order. When you do it in your book, because you're doing it from the screen, it's probably easier if you copy all of the numbers down to start off with. So you can see at number 1, we've got some numbers already on the top there. If I get my whiteboard and I show you what I would do, I'm going to copy all of those numbers down first. I'm not going to do it all now, but I'll show you. So we'll just do the first 2 numbers. So I'm going to copy them all down. So I've got them in a long line across my page. Then I'm going to start searching for them. Once I've put one in my order, I'm going to cross it off so I know that I've done it. Then I'm going to put a comma. I'm going to look along my line again and I'm going to write the next one. Then I'm going to look along again and write the next one, and I'm going to cross them off so there's no chance I have missed any numbers out. Okay, so first step, copy all 5 numbers into your book first. Then you can start comparing them in your page, which is much easier than trying to hold all those numbers in your head on the screen. Okay, so there's 3 on this page, and then there's another 3 on the next page. So when you've done the first 3, you can unpause the video and go on to the next 3, pause the video again, and when you've done all 6, we will have a look at the answers together. Okay, so these are all going in descending order, starting from the largest and going down to the smallest. Right, you have a go at that now. Press pause. Okay, here's the second page. Press pause as soon as you see the second page. Here we go. This is numbers 4, 5, and 6. Once you've done 4, 5, and 6, we'll mark all 6 of them together. Off you go. Okay, how did you do? Right, you need your marking pen or pencil, and you need to look really, really carefully because there's lots of numbers to check off here. So check off one number at a time. So start from number 1. Is the first number you've got 8,530? Does it then go 8,505? Then 8,350, 8,305, 5,850. Check each one really carefully. So press pause now and check them really carefully. Well done. Hopefully you checked those really well. Right, we're going to move on now to a challenge. We're going to be ordering numbers, but there are some digits missing. So these numbers are going in ascending order. So this time we're starting from the smallest number and we're going all the way up to the biggest number in ascending order. So the number at the top of our page is going to be the smallest, and we're going to grow and grow and grow until we get to a big number. But these are in order, but there are digits missing. Can you see there are gaps? So this hasn't got a hundreds digit in. This one's got a hundreds digit missing. And over here, we've got some tens digit missing. The digits that are missing are the digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And they are only used once each. So once I put a 1 in one of those numbers, I can't use the 1 again. Okay, so each of those digits goes in those gaps. So I have to have a look at the numbers that are already there. So I need to think this top number is the smallest. So I already can see that underneath I've got 4,300, which means the digit that goes in here has to be smaller than a 3. Okay, so you need to draw the grid out and then have a try. You might find that you have to do it more than once before you get it, which is why it's a big challenge. Okay, if you get the answer first time, you've done very well, because I had to have 2 or 3 goes at this and I created it myself. So make sure you really think about it. You're going to need to use lots of perseverance and resilience here. Don't give up until you've got it right. Okay, and once you've got it right, come back and have a look at the answer, which I'll share with you in a minute. Press pause and off you go. Did you manage it? Have you got the right answer? Shall we have a look? So there is possibly more than one answer to this. This is the answer I got. Okay, so you can see I started with, we talked about this number here needing to be smaller than 3. So I put a 2 in there, and we've got 4,265. Well, I have got a 5 in the next number, and then I knew that that was still going to be a 3 in the hundreds further down, and then I've got my 4 and my 1 and my 6 further down. Did you manage it? I hope you did. You may find you've got them in slightly different places. As long as it's correct, double check your lines. As long as it's correct, it doesn't matter if you've got a slightly different answer to me, but you must check that the number above is smaller than the next number down, okay? And have a really good look at that, but well done if you managed it. It was a real challenge. Right, tomorrow, we're gonna do a bit more ordering, and we're going to be doing some comparing of numbers. So well done today. You had lots of brain work to use today, explanations and challenges. So you've done really well. Brilliant job, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care and have a lovely day.